Meeting of the Centennial School Board is called to order at 7:28 p.m. On Wednesday, October 11th, 2023, and a quorum is present. Thank you for joining us this evening. We've had at this point, I would like to call for approval of the agenda. Are there any changes necessary? Yes, Director.
May I ask that we remove the student count agenda item from confirmation items? I have some questions about that document and would like to remove that. And so I guess it would go into old business maybe or something?
Yeah, we will move that over to old business. Thank you. Any other adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll go ahead with the agenda revised. At this point, we'll do introduction of guests, and I would love to turn it over to Superintendent Owens.
All right, we have one guest in the house tonight. We've got Kelly Stickle, who you may remember as a former Centennial School District board member. She left the board back in, I believe, 2016 after having participated for several years. And she left in part because she was starting a career as an educator. And so it's been fun to see her working as a teacher. And now she's a Title I teacher this year and going also through her admin program. And that's why she's here tonight, because part of her program is to observe some board meetings as if she's never done that before. So welcome to Kelly and welcome back. It's really great to see you.
I move that we approve the minutes of September 27th board meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Director Curry is an aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. The meeting minutes will be logged as presented. Next up is public forum. I know we did have a comment, but there's a process on our website, so I'm really hopeful that whoever was asking for that can follow that process, because we would love to hear from you. Thank you. Next up, we've got reports. We're going to jump straight to some dining services reports.
All right. We've got National School Lunch Week, which is a great opportunity to feature some new things that are happening in our dining services program. So I will go ahead and turn it over to our dining services director, Kim Burns, who will introduce her co-part here. And just so that the audience knows, there was a food tasting that happened earlier, so that was a fun experience to have as well. So, Kim, feel free to take it away.
Hi, I'm Kim Burns, the Director of Dining Services, and I'd like to introduce our Nutrition Coordinator and Wellness Coordinator, Pia Watzig. Pia is a certified chef, and she brings a wealth of knowledge from not only that end of it, the restaurant and chef end of it, but also comes from another school district and in Southern California was also at a school district down there. We're very excited to bring Pia on our staff this year to be able to address some of the concerns that some of the staff had and the board did have last year about some food items, and we're looking forward to bringing out even more special meals for you that the students are now enjoying. So we just wanted to tonight showcase our team efforts that we've been doing. So I just wanted to let you know we're 57 members strong in dining services. As you know, we have 3 elementaries, 2 middles, and a high school. We also run a satellite program, which is quite large. We run about 1,100 breakfasts and 1,400 lunches out what I say the back door. We do about 1,000 out the front door to our high school students. So we serve Albina Head Start, most of the MESDs, and also CTC. We have 5 drivers and a warehouse lead, 2 office staff, and the wellness coordinator and myself. So that's kind of dining services in a nutshell. This is some accomplishments, and I don't want to go into it, but I just wanted to talk. Last year was our biggest thing was going CEP district-wide, which meant that all students eat at no charge, and that's really exciting, and it definitely levels the playing field and takes away the stigma of free and reduced lunch for all students, making that available for all parents, especially those parents that maybe we're even hitting that reduced area where being able to come up with monies for lunches was hard, especially after COVID. So that was wonderful. I started as a new director after John Waker's legacy of 26 years. We had our first all-staff professional development, and we had that again this year as well. And then the district has also kind of come behind and also is doing some staff development for classified staff, and we welcome that. It's been wonderful. We did go undertake a successful ODE audit last year, which we hadn't had one in about 6 years, so just COVID and that, so that was wonderful. We started a student advisory group last year at Centennial High School, and thank you, Jess, for showing up at one of the meetings. I appreciate your participation. And some of those issues that the high school students came up with were the reason for our accomplishments that I'll go over to the 23-24 school year. Oh, I would like to showcase our summer program. We were showcased as our partnership with Portland Parks and Play on Channel 12. That was really exciting over at CMS and then at the park that's near, Vidal Rutherford Park over by Park Patrick. This school year, we started out with abatement and a lot of construction, and I'm kind of working through that. And we did a renewal of CEP, and why I put that in there is because you get it for 4 years, so last year was 1 year. So this would have been year 2 of 4, but we did go ahead and renew, and so this is year 1 of 4 again, so we still have 4 more years to make that decision, which is amazing. We added Pia, our nutrition and wellness coordinator. We started a cultural diverse line at the high school. It's called Around the World. Some of those items were showcased tonight. So we started the new service line. It started on September 18th. It's going amazing. Students are loving it. We're working through maybe some logistical things, but besides that, it's been a really great program to start. We just renewed our partnership with Sun Programs for supper at all the after-school programming that we have. We renewed all of our contracts with satellites. We still continue our staff professional development. One of the things I launched this year was a future leaders. I'm taking some of the people that aren't in management. Managers I meet with once a week. So people that are maybe the next in line, we're starting to future leaders, and we opened it for any and all staff that want to come. Kind of like, what does it mean to be a kitchen manager? Is that something I maybe want to aspire to do? Okay, and then we'll begin student advisory. I'm picking Oliver in Park Lane. Oliver, it's kind of a new school. They're getting new flavors, that kind of thing. And then Park Lane, the elementary students that were on the board last year that came forward had some concerns, and so I want to go ahead and start where the concerns are first. Thank you. So here is our new line, okay? We're calling it the Eagles Court. We asked the 9th graders at Centennial High School that were there for 9th grade counts this summer, hey, what would you like to call your cafeteria? And the Eagles Court is what they decided. I like the idea because it's kind of like a court where you can make some choices, okay? We showcased chicken shawarma tonight to you, and that's one of the meals that the students really enjoy. Go ahead and hit the next slide. That's some of our staff. This is our amazing staff at the high school. And I want to say they've been through a lot. They started, we were still under construction. If you were at the high school, there was plastic up. They were having to work around it. It's led by our amazing manager, April Carr, and there's your team. And we have added 1 employee. They're fully staffed right now, knock on wood. And we're hoping to be able to, as they increase, in their participation, to be able to increase possible hours or staffing. We'll have to see how that goes. Prior to us investing in the high school staff, we really hadn't made any investment in food services since about 1959, pretty much the age of the buildings, okay? It wasn't included in the bond projects or any other capital improvements that had happened through the district so far. The feedback from the students wasn't positive. Like I said, we had that high school line. The service was kind of limited, and the kitchen is very undersized. The menu is mostly heat and serve items and prepackaged food, and we wanted to address that right away. The investment, we're investing about $850,000 from our dining services fund, and the remodeled service line is supporting the modern food court service style, more menu variety, and the speed of service. Right now, we're at about 850, 900 students, which is up from last year about 150. And we're hoping that we can serve up to 1,000 students in over 3 successive lunches. We're dedicating food prep and staging areas, and that's our next group too. We're getting out of room. We have a classroom right now that we do our prep in, and because of the amazing culinary program at the high school, we're going to be moving out of that room so they can have 2 culinary classrooms now, and we're moving everything back down into the kitchen area. So we needed to dedicate some space for that. We got a lot of new ovens to support the more scratch cooking. That's been amazing too. Pia, do you want to talk about the service lines?
Sure.
Yep.
Our service lines up at CHS are around the world, which really features different flavors from all over. We have Moroccan flavors and different Asian countries and Hispanic flavors, just different styles. And that line is actually being led by one of our lovely Syrian ladies that cooks in the kitchens, and she's really, really great with that one. We have a grill line, which includes our sandwiches and our hot sandwiches, hamburgers, and a lot of the favorites. We're bringing in a couple new things like cheesesteaks and things like that. Our classics line is very comfort food. It's a lot of mashed potatoes. We featured meatloaf about a week ago or so, and that was a really, really popular dish. Our pizzas come with, we serve cheese pizza daily, and then there's always another option for it. We also have an entire bar next to the pizza line that gives the students a chance to add fresh toppings to their pizzas and adds more variety that they can customize their meals. Our grab and go is actually really great. It features a daily sandwich that is made fresh in-house every day and a salad every day. Our salads are packaged up so the kids can grab them and go on to do their activities. And we have a set schedule as to which ones they get for days. And that is our grab and go deli. And there's another great, and you can see our pizza line right behind it. It's got a nice flat pizza heating pad stone line. And that's what it looks like.
Just so here is some student trays. I was working the point of sale, and as students came through and had variety on their plate. So it looks like that's the meatloaf on the left. And as you can see, they have, and this is a student. I just said, show me your tray. And on the right is the chicken shawarma, and that student shows, I'm sorry, that's kati chicken, and broccoli, and they've tacked some carrots as well. And I just wanted to make sure that the students showcased what they were choosing. I also want to add that at the end of every line now, we have every line they go through and they can grab a garden bar, which I know that a lot of parents and students wanted to see the full salad bar come back. And I don't know if I'll be able to do that as well, but we have a garden bar with some other things so they can always add a big pile of fresh salad. We had a lot of students say the portions they feel are small. This was a way that I could add to their plate with not adding a lot of calories and still getting those fresh and local flavors to them. This is some of our new Maynard Inspire items. These are our flavors from the flavors around the world. So we have the banh mi sandwiches, the chicken shawarma, which you tried tonight. We have some various styles of curry that we're doing. The enchilada bake went over really well. Instead of doing enchiladas, we did it as a pan and did it as more of a baked item, so it was stacked. It looked a lot better. The kids really enjoyed it. And then the Moroccan kati chicken, the line was real long. The kids really enjoyed it. It smelled amazing. Obviously, we still have the student favorites. We can't get rid of those. They're not going to like that. So we still have the pizza. We're calling it pizza and more because at some place we want to possibly do some other type of Italian dishes, calzones, that type of thing. But for now, it's a pizza line. And like Pia said, we have fresh vegetables and things for them to top their pizzas with. Chicken sandwiches are always a big favorite. We have a hot and spicy and a regular. They all now have toppings with their cheeseburgers and their chicken sandwiches, lettuce, tomato, and such. And then their cold sandwich deli style. And don't forget about the Smucker's peanut butter and jelly because that's a favorite. And that's on every day. And we pretty much now have it so they really don't run out anymore. And that seemed to be a big concern. So give them a peanut butter. Give them some Smuckers. Yeah. So. That's right. And everything's ready for them to go. It's a full reimbursable meal, and they can go straight to the line. Some of the new favorites, we tried an oven fried chicken, which was a bone-in, mashed potatoes, and hot veggies, so they went crazy. The pizza line, like I said, has a self-serving toppings, and pretty much the salad and the deli items on a daily rotation, so the kids will know, like, Monday is my Caesar salad day. The pizza line, we tried to keep it cheese, and then, like, maybe Monday's pepperoni, Tuesday's Canadian bacon and ham. We always tried to keep it so that way they have, not only does our staff have it, but they know then too, like, oh, this is my favorite day, it's pepperoni pizza day or whatever, okay? These are our future hopes, funding dependent. We want to do a full kitchen update. I did a lot on the outside. I need to work on the inside now because I do have around 20 staff that work in that area between Satellite and the high school. We need to do lighting upgrades next summer. We'd love to have some more oven space, maybe an additional freezer to accommodate everybody, maybe a conveyor dishwasher. We've got a lot of dishes going on. Updating the service lines and adding more scratch and world flavors to the middle school and elementary menus. I know a lot of you asked that, and that's what we'll do. We'll take the favorites and probably work those down to the middle school first and then down to the elementary level. A few of the items already are on the menus. We want to continue utilizing our farm to school and our local fresh grants and get more farm to table products at all schools. That's one of Pia's specialties, and that's one of the reasons that I hired her. We're hoping for some equipment grants, possibly to update some outdated ovens throughout the district. And then, as I said, funding dependent, we'll just keep on working on each site's, as we go on, dishwashers and steam tables, service tables, that type of thing. More to come. We're going to do a lot of allergen training. That's one of the things Pia is really great at. We're going to have more gluten-free and dairy-free menu items for our food-sensitive students. Our student advisories, we talked about that. Fresh and new items, wraps, bundles, healthier options. We're doing a pita hummus thing right now that the kids are really enjoying. Continuation of summer outreach. I really want to continue to expand that. Work on local. Last year we worked with a couple new groups, and I'd like to continue expanding that. I'm going to have staff here to make lunches. If we're going to make 200, we can make 300. We can keep going. So we have the staff that want to work. So we think that's an amazing opportunity. Professional development for our staff. We're going to have on-site classes. We did that this year. Pia did. We did recipe development. We'd like to continue that, knife skills and that type of thing. And then I'd like to be able to start a monthly newsletter where I'm sharing that out, kind of like what the principals are doing. They're doing more weekly. I think ours would be monthly. And then we would send it out to the schools, and then they could use the snippets of that for their own school paper. That's everything from dining. I could talk about our amazing staff, and I do really want to give a huge shout out to our high school staff. We have asked a lot of them in the last 6 weeks, including them coming in early in the summer. Our kitchen manager, April Carr, developed most of the menus and did a lot of tastings with Paul and myself, and then brought Pia in, and they perfected, and her and her staff have done an amazing job in some pretty constricting times with plastic and all kinds of things going on. So we really appreciate how hard they've worked and the ownership that they have in it. So does anybody have any questions that we can answer?
At this point, are there any questions?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
There would be leftover foods, right? So are there plans for leftover foods, or is this something that's just very regulated and restrictive?
Anything left over, we try to utilize when possible, if it's possible. So for leftover salads or sandwiches, we have them color coded for the day that they're made, and then reuse them on to the next day if they're able to be used again. A lot of the kids like that. And anything that's in our hot areas or on our service lines, we tend to, if it's possible to reuse again, we tend to cool rapidly and then wrap up and reuse for the next time we can, as long as it hasn't been served and it's within our guidelines, yes. Trying to reduce food waste where possible.
Well, and then does that give students an option to take things home? I mean, could I take 2 salads if I knew that I was having a challenge? Or is that, how do we deal with that?
We get reimbursed on one reimbursable meal per student per day. Well, one breakfast, one lunch, and then supper if they choose to participate. So we aren't allowed. And there's 2 reasons for that. The first one is I would have no way to make sure that it was equitable. So some students, the ones that run faster or push harder, would be able to get it maybe seconds, and somebody else wouldn't. So that we're pretty highly regulated. Even my staff isn't allowed. They're allowed to have a meal while they're there on site, but they're not even allowed to take food home. It's very regulated. It's because it's federally funded from the USDA. So we do try to make sure that we can. It's hard, especially when we're having it first time on the meal, to kind of determine what's going to be popular and what isn't. That's why sometimes you'll see things run out, and we don't like that. And so next time we'll try to up that ante. Or if we see that we did have something that was not as popular, we'll either try to run it against something different next time or just make sure that we make less that time. So we do try to watch waste really closely, and I will say our staff's pretty amazing at it. They kind of know when they see the menu what's popular and what's not, and how many to make on especially a new item. Kind of start slow and build it up. So, but thank you for the question. It's a really good one.
Anything else? Go ahead, Dirk.
So
So you talked about expanding the summer program. I didn't catch it. Is the summer program totally out of CHS?
No. So we kind of run it, it's a group effort. So if the school itself has programming, like CMS had programming, Butler Creek had programming, and then we had EKT, I'll run summer food there because it's just as helping the school as well. But anything that goes out to Parks and Recreation, that is run out of Centennial High because they're set up already satellite-wise, and it's easier for me to have that all in one area. So if one of our employees wants to work, they may be scheduled at the high school helping with the meals that go out. They're sent out, and then Parks and Rec actually comes and picks up their own food, and it's all set in coolers with ice and everything, and then they send it out to their parks. They have like a runner that goes out. Yeah. Does that help you?
Well, it does. But you also mentioned that people like to work in the summer, that your staff likes to work. So is everybody getting an opportunity to work, even though they work, say, let's say at Pleasant Valley normally? Are they able to come to the high
Yes.
school and work?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So we do it on a kind of I don't want to call it an honor system, but it's on a hand-raising kind of thing. And there's usually more work than people. So usually I'm making sure that I'm, kind of staffing myself, and our staff may have to go and work too. Because some people that want to work full-time, maybe other people have vacations that they're trying to utilize. But we had the extra time, like when Butler Creek and CMS were in, that was a real highly staffed week. And then we might have it a little bit slower because we're just running from the high school out. And we also had lunches all summer at Park Lane or Oliver, depending on who wasn't under construction this summer. So, but she made the meals at the high school, and then we drove down her meals, and then she met down there, the cook manager did, and she served out from there. So even if meals are made at the high school, some of the cook managers may be serving at their site. EKT was real hard this year on that because a lot of the abatement was going on at the high school. So we made the food, at their school, like Pal Butte would be a good example, where we made the food at CMS and then brought it over to Pal Butte. So I haven't had too many workers yet. Usually it just always seems that it's always just enough. Yeah. Or if I need more, I can usually kind of call around and, I didn't know I could work. Absolutely, you can. So it seems to always work out.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to express appreciation for the presentation tonight and also the work that's been happening in dining services that you've done this year, and just in terms of the vision that's being established. It's hard to believe, Kim, that you've been here just a little over a year, I believe. And so I know that you came in and got to hear from a lot of stakeholders around what people felt around the food, and hopefully none of that was taken personally because you're new to the program. And so I think that you've been able to take the feedback and put into action a lot of the changes in a rapid pace, which is impressive to see. And I'll also just make another note that Director Southerton, amongst his many talents, comes from a food service background at OHSU. And so he's been able to contribute into shaping the vision that you see on the screen in terms of what's been done already, and then the plans for the future as well, in terms of gearing the program strongly towards student interest. Yep.
And I also didn't get to say thank you to Paul as well. He's been invaluable and been, he was like, would you like me to take point in this? I'm like, yeah, I've never really constructed a commercial kitchen before. So he's like, well, I have, and Pia had a lot of a great input of that as well. And we also started at the very beginning and added our high school team onto the vision at the beginning. Like, I can construct a kitchen, but what are your thoughts? It's your kitchen. And I think that was Paul's vision as well, and I think that really helped out to give them equal stake in it. So thank you. Our team is amazing. We've asked our staff a lot from our staff in this last year, and they've come through with flying colors and continue to do so. So we're really looking forward to being able to share even more items and things. Hopefully in another year we'll come and tell you about all the things that we've launched at even more. So thank you.
We should be very proud of your team. You guys have done great. I actually do see one other question here from Director Curry, potentially. Go ahead, Director Curry.
Yeah, well, not a question. I just wanted to say that presentation was amazing, and that I am sorry I missed the chicken shawarma.
Yes, you are.
Also, Missy has tickets for you guys to come and join us for lunch. And we also gave it out to the district office and then all the staff at the Centennial High School, because we like the staff at Centennial High to be able to either hear what the kids are talking about or be able to go in there and go like, why aren't you eating lunch? We had lunch today. It was amazing. Did you see all the new flavors? So we made sure that we did that at our expense to make sure that the adults were getting a taste and a flavor so they could have good conversations with their students.
I will.
So thanks to Marin for all your support as well at the high school. It's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to partnering with his new culinary teachers and being able to get students in my kitchen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Director Lynn, did you have something to add?
I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of our family, and particularly my son, who is a client. So thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Food looks amazing. I can't believe how crazy it is. It looks great. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. The superintendent's report, so I'd like to pass it on over to Superintendent Owens.
All right, greetings, board members. It is my pleasure and privilege to share with you an update about the happenings in the district. Last time my report was rather lengthy, so tonight I'm hoping to make up for that and provide a shorter yet informative report. As was mentioned in my recent email, and as we have seen on TV and social media, the recent attacks by the Hamas militant group against the people of Israel and the subsequent declaration of war by Israel is leading to numerous casualties and injuries. There's an ongoing crisis, as we know, and millions of civilians are in harm's way. Emotional impacts can be felt at home by all, and especially young people and those with connections to the region. I've even received emails from staff who are connected to the region as well. As educators, we can provide a space for students to learn about current events, ask questions, and share thoughts. To help students better understand these events and to place them in a broader context, the Oregon Department of Education, or ODE, gathered history, social science, mental health, and social emotional learning resources to support teachers and families in assisting students. These resources were shared in my message, both the staff as well as the message that was shared with families. I wanted to acknowledge that this evening, as similar to the war in Ukraine, this is a significant international issue with ties and impacts on our school district community, and I felt that needed to be acknowledged. September 15th through October 15th, we celebrate Mes de la Herencia Hispana, or National Hispanic Heritage Month in English. First declared in September 1989, it aims to recognize and celebrate the many contributions, diverse cultures, and extensive histories of the American Latinx community. During this month, the Independence Days of several Latin American countries are also celebrated. These include Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Chile, Belize, and Mexico. With just a few days left before the end of the monthly celebration, schools across our district are celebrating by creating artwork and poems and learning of the historical contributions of the Hispanic and Latinx communities. Monday, October 2nd was National Custodians Day. Our custodial staff are critical to the everyday school and district operations, and their support of our students and staff are very much appreciated. You'll see a few of our custodians here in this picture, and from left to right, we see Jake Worley from Meadows Elementary, Sylvia Cervantes from Centennial High School, Jose Maris from Oliver Middle School, Brian Caricio from Centennial Middle School, and Sonia Torres from Centennial High School. And as was part of the presentation we just had, the week of October 9th through 13th is National School Lunch Week. The Oregon Department of Education and the Oregon School Boards Association are teaming up to raise awareness of the importance of child nutrition programs in schools. Research shows that students who are nourished properly at school perform better academically and behave better in the classroom. This week is National School Lunch Week, and this year's theme is Level It Up, a way to encourage students to up their game with a healthy school lunch. We hope you enjoyed the samples that were provided earlier in the meeting. In addition, board members, you are invited to eat with students and experience school lunches. If you're interested in trying a school lunch this week, please let Missy know, and she can help you arrange a visit to one of our schools. All right, one of Chair Solowski's favorite. Last week, all of our middle school sixth graders attended outdoor school from Sunday, October 1st to Friday, October 6th. Students attended one of 4 camps: Camp Collins, Camp Angelos, Camp Karatla, and Camp Westwind. Students went on hikes, simulated weathering using rocks, checked particle size, learned about mushrooms, and identified pelts and animal tracks. They also enjoyed campfire cooking, archery, cracked open gourds, and made friendship bracelets, and did jobs and chores around the camps. Geodes. This part of the script was written for me. Geodes. Cracked open geodes. I don't know what they are. Cracked open thunder eggs, made friendship bracelets, and did jobs and. Apparently, that was not part of my outdoor school experience. Apparently, we're gonna. Next month, it's not going to be school lunch. It's going to be. How do you say that again? Geodes. Geodes. Everyone says it like they know it, and I don't. Students love. And that concludes my super.
Please continue.
Students love the rec time, spending time at the beach and river, and singing campfire songs. You might be wondering when Centennial Middle School goes. They are scheduled to attend outdoor school this spring from May 12th through the 17th. As was mentioned in my last superintendent's report, Centennial is reinstituting the district equity leadership team, composed of representatives from each school, including community partners, students and parents, and a board liaison. Thank you to Vice Chair Shields for serving in this role. You can see her pictured in the top left. She is. And joining in today's session, which was the first one for the year. This afternoon, the team met for 4 hours. In this time, they engaged in community building, established clarity around the purpose for the team, examined the district equity audit report, which we received earlier this week and will be shared with the board here shortly, and we'll process it at the next work session. And they reviewed the upcoming equity professional learning for the district. I will allow Vice Chair Shields to share a bit about her experience participating in today's session, should she so wish.
There was a lot to cover, a lot to unpack, but it was a very good experience. They're kind of a challenge adding to the group because we were packed in here, i.e. seeing us out in the halls and having our small group work. It's clear that from my perspective, I'm behind in what so many other people know and are committed to. So the commitment level in that room was really high. And that, it just came through. It just felt that way. And even if you might be behind, like I might have been, you felt like you were going to be included in the conversation and accepted at whatever level you were in kind of the equity challenge that we've taken on as a district. So it was a good time.
Yesterday, Centennial administrators participated in our second of 7 monthly rounds of implementation walkthroughs. As was mentioned last month, this is a newly established routine in which administrators work in teams of 2 to 3, observing classrooms throughout the district. In yesterday's walkthroughs, observers looked for evidence of culturally responsive elements and evidence of inquiry and productive struggle for students. Following these observations, teams debriefed the degree to which these elements were present and considered next steps to take with their respective staffs based on what they learned.
Did you realize you had a board member's child in that one? That was really good.
That was
Yeah. Director Hardin's daughter is in one of those.
oh, I see.
Well played.
Thank you to Chief Rosales Correa. Next Tuesday, October 17th, Centennial will be conducting its first data summit. This is a new routine part of Roadmap 27, which will be conducted each trimester to monitor the impact of our learning and adjust and improve instructional practices and systems. During the data summit, representative school leadership teams will engage in a structured, reflective process that involves the review and analysis of student data and professional practices aligned to school improvement plans in the Roadmap 27. Teams will identify strengths and areas of need and develop an action plan with the intent to review the impact of that plan during the next data summit, which will be held in February. including the engagement of their respective staff in a similar process at school sites in the coming weeks. This first data summit will consist of the school teams that participated in the School Improvement and Equity Audit School Leadership Team work session that we held in June, and that's the pictures that you see up here. As this routine progresses over time, we will consider ways in which to broaden community involvement in the process. As was shared during the summer board retreat, in the 2023-24 school year, we will reinstate the practice of annual school reports to the board. These reports had been in abeyance during the COVID-19 pandemic. Prior to this, school reports had been a longstanding component of board meetings intended to inform the board of the work and the focus of Centennial Schools in alignment with the district's strategic priorities. On the screen, you will see the year-long schedule for these reports, starting with Centennial High School. Special thank you to Principal Miller for bravely volunteering to go first, or being voluntold to go first. No, he volunteered. As was mentioned in my weekly communication, the January 24th work session will be converted into an in-person meeting to accommodate the Powell Butte report. School staff are welcome and invited to attend these in-person reports, which will feature the school's goals, strategies and practices employed to achieve these goals, and then celebrations and challenges. We also heard from the board as far as the desire to have student voice, and so schools have been instructed to incorporate that into the presentations as well. On a final note, and perhaps to the pulling of the class size from the agenda, I wanted to speak to the class size count. So as you know, the board receives a regular enrollment and class size report. Obviously, it is necessary for staffing to be assigned well in advance of the arrival of students in the fall. For that reason, each spring, the district goes through a process of projecting enrollment, class size, and assigning FTE or teachers for the following school year that's based on projections. Of course, projections are best guess predictions, and unfortunately, students don't travel between grades in neat packages of 25, so there can be differences in the numbers projected and the reality that actually happens in the fall when schools open. In keeping with our normal process, in mid-September, Director Southerton, Dr. Katsuda, and I met to review class size data to see if there were grade levels or subject areas in the district in need of staffing adjustments. We were able to identify a few, which were high enrollment areas at Patrick Lynch in first grade and Butler Creek in second grade. One thing to note in the October 2nd enrollment report that's uploaded into Board Book is that the report does not yet reflect class size reduction in the grade levels that I mentioned. That's because the new teacher for those grade levels has not been hired, so the class sizes are not yet relieved. Once that process has been completed, the class size count will be reflected in future reports accordingly. We also noted that there's lower enrollment in Centennial Virtual Academy in grades K through 5. CVA Principal Dr. Zach Ramberg had already made some internal staffing adjustments of teachers to reduce to one elementary teacher and then move staffing to the secondary level where there was a higher than projected enrollment. So with that, I invite any questions or comments you might have. Sorry about the thunder egg miscue. I don't even geodes. And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions at this point in time?
I just wanted to say that as a rock hound, Superintendent Owens, I was quite disappointed.
Shame
We
on
will
me.
be, I will be bringing geodes and hammers for the next board meeting, and we can, great, excellent.
Prime day. All right.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Owens. Next up, we have the OSEA report, and it looks like we have Linda Preble, who is here to help us with that report today, who I believe is also an OSEA officer. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. I am the secretary of OSEA.
That's what I had written down, but then I was like, I wasn't sure if I should say it out loud or not.
And a New York, and she's a New York Giants fan.
Yes, I am.
Boo. Sorry.
Yes, very proud. I am.
We don't need to talk about football, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about with OSCA.
Well, thank you, Mr. Owens, for your report and for warming up the room for me. I am Linda Preble, and I am reporting on behalf of the OSEA leadership team. This past month has been characterized by remarkable progress and dedication from our staff and members in various areas of our organization. Dining services excellence. One of the notable highlights from this month is the commendable performance of our dining services team. Despite the ongoing challenges and changes we face in our educational landscape, the team has consistently demonstrated the remarkable ability to provide nutritious and quality meals to our students. We commend their unwavering commitment to ensuring that no child in Centennial goes hungry, even during times of significant change and construction. Human Resources Leadership. We are pleased to report that the presence of our new HR Director, Jose, has been positively recognized by our union leadership. We believe that his leadership and expertise are guiding us in the right direction, helping to navigate the complex human resource challenges that we encounter in our school district. His contribution is invaluable, and we look forward to continued progress in this area. Statewide involvement. In an effort to strengthen our advocacy for Centennial at the state level, some of our members convened in Salem for an OSEA statewide committee day. This event provided a platform to discuss and address important educational matters at the state level. We are particularly proud to have Mitzi Hurt chairing the state scholarship committee, Chris Dow leading the Human and Civil Rights Committee, and Justin Dow continuing his service on the Public Relations Committee. These roles are instrumental in amplifying our voice and influencing decisions that affect educators, and students in our district. Recognition of emerging leader. It is with great pride that we announce for the second consecutive year, OSEA has recognized someone from Centennial as an emerging leader. Justin Dow has been named as an emerging leader and will soon have the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. to meet with national leaders. His representation of Centennial at this level reinforces our commitment to making a positive impact on the Centennial community and advancing the cause of education. Upcoming chapter meeting. Our next chapter meeting is scheduled for October 17th and will commence with a retirement workshop. This will be an important opportunity for our members to receive valuable information and support as they transition into the next phase of their lives. I'm hoping I get to retire in less than 15. Crossing my fingers. In conclusion, it has been a month of remarkable achievements, teamwork, and dedication within the Centennial School District. Our dining services, human resources, and state-level involvement continue to thrive, ensuring that the voices of educators are heard and the needs of our students are met. We are proud to represent Centennial, and we are committed to our ongoing efforts to make a positive impact on our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was great. I really appreciate it. And I just want to echo the dining services were here this evening, and the food was fabulous. It was so great to see all the work that they've done. And congratulations to Justin Dow. I know that he is an integral member of our community in addition to his daily role. I know he helps with the high school team, for the football team and the baseball team, and I've just seen him become a really integrated member of our community. And so congratulations on the recognition, Justin. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got the CEA report from our CEA president, Amanda Kassab.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me. I've been reporting that relationships between CEA and CSD have been improving. And however, over the last month, there seems to be a little bit of deterioration within those I have been trying to meet with administration to discuss discuss issues that have been coming up. Specifically, I met with Mo and Denise, and in those separate meetings, I felt that my questions were answered. However, when I took the information that I was told back to my members, I was told that that was not what they were being told from the administration. So there's a lot of confusion. In fact, regarding one meeting, I was told that all the issues that had been taken care of prior to the meeting taking place. However, I walked in on Monday, or the following Monday, and was CC'd on an email from a learning specialist stating that they have not been getting their contractual prep periods nor lunches because the support has not been there to relieve them to take the time. A meeting with building and DO administration was scheduled within a week and included impacted members and building CEA reps and myself. The biggest issue is that we do not have EA support to legally comply with our IEP minutes. And it seems that the DO does not have a specific plan to remedy this. When we've discussed the issues, the answers have been to timesheet the time, or we're working on hiring, which we understand is a challenge. However, it's still a major impact to our most vulnerable population in our schools. Communication with CSD has been challenging. DO administration seems to be unaware of what is happening in our buildings. When I bring something up in labor management, it seems to be the first time that they have heard of it. In fact, I get asked if the principal has been told. My members state that they have always been telling their principals. However, the information is not being relayed. When it comes to maintenance issues, principals have shared that they have put in work orders and or communicated directly, but things are still unacceptable. We have had classrooms regularly getting over 80 degrees at CMS, even with the new cooling systems, and they do not seem to be functioning correctly. One example, a teacher was having issues with the system before she left on Friday, so she turned the thermostat off. When she came in on Monday morning, she found that the heat had been running and her classroom was showing 94 degrees and metal in her classroom was hot to touch. When I contacted Paul directly, I was told we're working on it. However, these issues continue to happen while we have students in our room, and it is they who are being impacted. How can we expect them to engage in an 80-degree room? Lastly, I want to share some concerns I have about planning that has been taking place at the district office. Last week, the district office scheduled an all-day math professional development with middle school teachers on a Friday, which caused the need for multiple subs in the building. Some of these positions went unfilled because because our district-based teachers are already filling in for unfilled learning specialist positions, there was a scramble to cover the classrooms. Building admin, counselors, and a hodgepodge of subs who had picked up other jobs were having to cover these classrooms on their prep. This is one of the best ways to not have a sub return because other than their lunch, they did not get a break. I have been sharing members are frustrated and feeling unsupported. These are just a few of the reasons. I have many members that want to share their stories of frustration with their own voice. However, they don't trust the system of writing a public comment. Since July, we have had 20 resignations. If Centennial wants to retain staff and attract new staff, we must have district office administration that is visible, supportive, and in touch with our building needs. We need to have professional trust and autonomy to serve the students in our classrooms, and we need to be able to make copies of our curriculum to support our students. Thank you very much. Rose, you're muted.
Thank you, Amanda.
Recording in progress.
We're going to move on to confirmation items at this point in time. And then we will take a break before we get into old business.
I'm sorry, Rose.
Please.
We can't hear anything. Oh, sorry,
Oh.
David.
Can I move to?
Sorry, I can't hear. I can't hear anything you're saying, Russ.
The,
Now everybody.
we got,
We got.
the school district got kicked out, and so we're working on getting that, because they're doing the sound for the whole room. Here they come. Thank you.
Shall we go ahead?
Should we go ahead?
I move that we approve the confirmations items as listed with the exclusion of enrollment reports, which has been placed into old business. Correct? Thank you.
Student
Sorry,
count.
student count. Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Director Curry is an aye.
Right?
Excellent. The ayes have it. We will be in recess for about 10 minutes while we take a short break.
Recording stopped.
Oh, yeah. You stopped the recording. It's paused. Like, but no.
Recording in progress.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. The meeting is back. We will move on to old business items, and we had 7.1.1 was the student count.
So Chair Slawski, my questions were answered in the superintendent's report that Superintendent Owens gave with regard to CVA and Patrick Lynch and Butler Creek class sizes. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving right along to new business. 7.2.1, considering approving the purchase of real property. Director Southerton.
Great, thank you, Chair Slawski. So the administration is requesting authorization to purchase real property within the district boundaries to support student programming of up to $500,000. As you will recall, the district declared several real estate properties as surplus to the district and no longer needed for the education of students over the previous 3 years. These properties included vacant land, rental homes, and Centennial Park School. These properties were not of use for a variety of reasons, including issues around development, location, and being in excess from previous facility builds. While these properties were no longer needed for the education of students, there are indeed needs in the district for additional properties, which could serve as a transition center or early learning center and other student programming needs. Recently, the district has become aware of a building for sale in our district, which could support some of these programming needs. The building is approximately 4,800 square feet, is general office building and professional space, and includes on-site parking, is close to bus lines, and has other amenities that the previous surplus properties could not provide. It is recommended that the Board of Directors approve the purchase of real property as described above within the district boundaries to support student programming at an amount not to exceed $500,000 and grant the superintendent or director of business and operations and their designees the authority necessary to sign documents to complete the purchase. I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. At this point, looking for questions.
No questions. I'd just like to make the motion to approve as presented in the board note 7.2.1.
It looks like there might be a question with Director Curry.
Just a point of order, I'd wanted to, for those in the public or who might be watching this later, that the board did have this discussion in executive session, and so this isn't a new item to us. And I can motion for the vote.
Are you the second?
Did you already motion?
Yeah, we were probably cross-communicating at that moment.
Then I second the motion.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Director Curry is an aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Very exciting to see where this takes us.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much.
We've got a first read of policies up next with the option to adopt IGBHA alternative education programs with Director Wright.
Good evening, Board. I'm here to present a policy. Last time when we met collectively as a group in the confirmation items was our yearly list of alternative programs. This is the policy that goes with it. As you can see, it's highly recommended. While there is a brief board note, there were several changes, but it's not substantial in what they have removed. And so I'm here to provide any opportunities if you have questions and recommend that we approve the policy.
Thank you. At this point, are there any questions? Yes.
I just had a question at the very last paragraph, clarification. I'm going to make the assumption that OSBA made the strikes in the language, and so this is presented as an edit from Oregon School Board Association. The very last sentence with considering all of the strikes ends with when contracting with private alternative education program, the district's contract will meet the requirements of law. It's so disjointed, it was kind of difficult to follow. It doesn't specify, it doesn't have the same specificity as the previous struck language, and I just wanted to know from your perspective if that is still comfortable not calling out state and federal or other things that had been previously called out.
Yes, so Missy Grindle and I reviewed the question, the policy, the information that's in the policy, and also noted up above there are several places where they've actually also removed the Oregon administrative rules, or the Oregon rules, specifically the numbers. And so thinking about, there's laws that often change, and as you can see, we've had this policy in place since 2014. And so several things have changed, even though the construct around the policy has not. And so in reading it and knowing they're referencing laws up above, that they're trying to truncate some repetitive language, and then they also have that paragraph above that's leaving it flexible, knowing that laws change and we still want to stay within the same parameters. So we were comfortable with what was listed there. And to go through to become an approved alternative program, there's very specific requirements with the Oregon Department of Education that you have to meet, which is also captured in that as well.
Thank you very much. Director Curry.
Yeah, I think a solution to that would be to clean up that language to reflect that that it is not just the law, but with local, state, and federal law. I think that would solve that problem.
Thank you for that suggestion. Yes.
I believe they're referring to that in the fourth paragraph where it says alternative education programs must meet all the requirements set forth in state law and rules and federal law as applicable. So I think they're trying to shorten the length of the policy by stating that once and then referring to it at the end is how I read it.
Agreed, we read it the same way.
Okay. Is that, do you have another hand up, Director Curry?
No. Yeah, when you're making a reference like that, it needs to be stated that you're referring to the laws above. It's nitpicky policy stuff, as you may or may not know. I'm a policy wonk, and I also work in the legal field. So if you're referring to the law, you need to be specific in that sentence what law you're referring to, regardless of whether or not you're referencing something, unless you directly reference the paragraph and that you're referring to.
So it's sounding like we could even take the language that Director Stanley was speaking, and we could just copy it down in that bottom paragraph to make sure that we're really clear. Right.
That would probably be a better verbiage, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can we have a motion to approve with minor edits to that bottom paragraph as a first
So moved.
read?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve policy IGBHA with the minor adjustments. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Director Curry's and I.
Aye. David Lane.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you very much, Director Wright. Next, we'll invite back Director Southerton with first read of policy KI.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chair Slawski. I will display my screen so we can kind of look at the policy. And this is really two policies that now OSBA has separated. They are currently joined with our policy KI and KJ together. And OSBA is recommending separating them into two policies and rescinding the joint KI and KJ upon adoption. So we'll take them individually as they are now considered two separate policies, if that's okay with the board. And the first one is on public solicitation in district facilities and speaks to what is permissible and time of day that's permissible, preserves the rights of parents to allow students to opt out of surveys and other things that are happening by third parties that may come in, while still providing additional opportunities to the district. So I welcome any questions you may have on it. It is pretty straightforward policy on how surveys and would be done.
Thank you. Are there questions at this time?
Yes,
Please,
please.
Director Shields.
I just have the challenge with the annually, and this, is this the last paragraph? Or is it the second to last? I'm having to scroll down as we're.
Yeah,
doing
it's in the
this.
final paragraph
Yeah,
there.
final paragraph on page 1, that we're going to annually, at the beginning of the school year, or when enrolling students for the first time, tell them specific or approximate dates during the school year of the surveys. What I understand is that we haven't been doing very many of these independent outside survey situations, so it's not come up, but it does seem a bit challenging if something came up that we wanted to participate in, but the opportunity came later than the first part of the year. Do we have to be that concerned, or is this one of the exceptions that's covered when it says by approval or exception with the superintendent? Something like that would be covered under that exception clause.
That's my understanding.
Got
And
it.
I know Superintendent Owens can offer some context for maybe when this has occurred or how this may occur in the
Yeah, and if
future.
I'm understanding your question correctly, we would notify prior to the administration of that. So not only is it listed in the handbook in advance, but then if there's a specific survey, like the student health survey that's being administered, then we notify families at the time that that's being administered, and then that gives them the option to opt out.
So you don't feel like it's constricting you to only be able to announce once a year
I
at
don't-
all?
I don't
Got it.
interpret
That
it
was
that
my
way.
only concern, the word annually kind of,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it says at least annually, so, yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Anything else?
Move to approve as presented. New policy KI.
KI. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we move forward with policy KI. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 Director Curry is an aye.
All right, thank you, Board. And policy KJ is the next policy, so
Right ahead.
as you'll recall, these were joined and now they're previously separate. KJ policy is around commercial advertising on district facilities and district facilities or on district grounds. So there are two versions of this policy, and what's being presented is version 2. Version 1 prohibits all forms of outside advertising. Version 2 permits advertising if it meets a specific criteria and upon the approval of the superintendent or their designee, and in alignment with the AR that is accompanying this policy or administrative rule. So version 2 is consistent with past practice in Centennial. We have allowed limited outside advertising. You've maybe seen it at the stadium football and soccer field. You've maybe seen some banners in the high school gymnasium. Les Schwab has been a sponsor in the past. We've had insurance companies, I understand, in the district and other similar businesses in the district want to put a banner up and sponsor athletics or other things through that process. It prohibits advertising on products that are prohibited by board policy and allows for a waiver or free advertising for district partners or nonprofits. And I'm happy to display the policy after kind of prepping it there. And I welcome any questions you may have on any of the sections in the policy.
Thank you, Director Southerton. At this time, are there any questions? Director Harden.
Yeah, I had a few questions and I kind of emailed about it, but just to, let everyone know, or, I was just curious about who the designee would be. And, I like, as far as just overall, I like that this policy is more open than it seemed. The previous policy seemed too restrictive, which is why we don't have a lot of fundraising, which is why we don't have a lot of sponsorship. And so this seems to be less restrictive of that, which I feel is a positive direction because of outside organizations that align with us and are willing to give us funds to, I support that. And I think that we could go further even with some flexibility over time, but this is a good first step. But yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything?
Motion to approve as recommended in the board note for approval of policy KJ as written.
Seconded.
It's been moved and, moved and seconded that we approve KJ and KJAR. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 I
Director Curry is an aye.
The motion passes and is adopted.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we've got a list for future agenda items. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
We bet you do.
It's that time of the year for Division 22. That's due at the end of October, so we'll have a Division 22 report to provide. We will have Lauren Klafke with Performance Fact here to help facilitate the equity audit report for the district, and so be looking forward to that. There is a field trip that the board will consider, a varsity baseball trip to Arizona in the spring. There will be the Oliver Middle School seismic design and engineering fee for consideration. There are some decision points in terms of the superintendent's evaluation process. That's a feature of how we designed it last spring. And so the board will have some consideration of how they would like that to look this year. And then we will also, I believe, have a GMGC award for the Oliver seismic. So those are the things that I have queued up for next time.
Thank you very much. Director Curry, did you have something? Oh, excellent. Thank you. Anything else? Yes, it will be virtual.
Yep.
Next one. So we won't have our geode presentation at that one. We'll wait till we're back in person.
November. November. Oh, I'm on it.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Yes, please.
So, I said this many times, there's a Centennial Marching Band exhibit at the Gresham Historical Society, which is coming down November 5th. The last day is November 4th. So, if you haven't seen the exhibit yet, and there may be other people at the high school who'd be interested in seeing it, or otherwise, you have about 3 weeks. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we're adjourned, 8:48 p.m. Thank you, everyone.